I was standing at the altar, watching my beautiful fiancée Sarah walk down the aisle toward me, her white dress flowing like something out of a fairy tale. My heart was pounding so hard I thought everyone in that church could hear it. 3 years we'd been together, and this was it. The moment I'd been dreaming about since the day I met her at that coffee shop when she accidentally spilled her latte all over my laptop. I remember laughing it off, and she bought me a new coffee, and we ended up talking for 4 hours straight. Now here we were, about to become husband and wife. The ceremony was perfect. Sarah's eyes were glistening with tears of joy as we exchanged our vows. I could barely get the words out because my voice kept cracking with emotion. When it came time for the rings, my best man Marcus handed them over with this huge grin on his face. Everything was going exactly as planned. The pastor smiled at us warmly and said those magic words I'd been waiting to hear my entire life. "You may now kiss the bride." I leaned in, my eyes closing, ready to kiss my wife for the first time as a married couple. Sarah's perfume filled my senses, that jasmine scent I'd fallen in love with. Our lips were maybe an inch apart when suddenly a voice rang out through the entire church, echoing off the high ceilings like a thunderclap. "Stop! Stop the wedding!" Everyone gasped. I froze, my eyes flying open. Sarah pulled back, confusion written all over her face. We both turned toward the back of the church where the voice had come from. Standing in the doorway, backlit by the afternoon sun streaming through the entrance, was a woman I hadn't seen in over 5 years. My ex-girlfriend Jennifer. My stomach dropped to the floor. What was she doing here? How did she even know about the wedding? Jennifer started walking down the aisle, and I could see she was visibly shaking, tears streaming down her face. The entire congregation of about 200 people sat in stun. Silence, all eyes bouncing between Jennifer, Sarah, and me. I felt Sarah's hand grip mine tighter, her fingers trembling. "Jennifer," I managed to choke out. "What are you doing here?" She stopped about 10 feet from the altar, wiping her eyes with the back of her hand. She was wearing jeans and a wrinkled t-shirt, like she'd just jumped in her car and driven straight here without thinking. Her hair was a mess, and she looked like she hadn't slept in days. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice breaking. "I'm so sorry, Jake, but I can't let you do this. I can't let you marry her without knowing the truth." Sarah's grip on my hand loosened. I could feel her pulling away from me emotionally, even though she was still standing right there. "What truth?" Sarah asked, her voice steady but cold. "Who even are you?" "I'm Jennifer. Jake and I dated for 2 years before we met you." Jennifer took a deep breath, steadying herself. "And I'm the mother of his 4-year-old son." The church erupted. Gasps, whispers, and shocked exclamations filled the air. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. My mind was racing, trying to process what she'd just said. A son. That was impossible. We'd broken up 5 years ago, and she'd never said anything about being pregnant. We'd ended things badly, sure, but she would have told me about something like that, wouldn't she? "That's not possible," I said, shaking my head. "Jennifer, what are you talking about?" "His name is Noah," she continued, reaching into her pocket and pulling out her phone. She held it up, showing us a picture of a little boy with dark curly hair and green eyes that looked eerily similar to mine. "He just turned 4 last month. Jake, I tried to tell you. I called you, I sent emails, I even came to your apartment, but you'd already moved. You'd blocked me on everything after our breakup." I did block her. Our relationship had ended in a massive fight, lots of screaming and accusations on both sides, and I'd wanted a clean break. I'd deleted her number, blocked her on social media, everything. And then I'd moved to a different part of town and started fresh. That's when I met Sarah. Sarah let go of my hand completely now. "Is this true?" she asked me, her voice barely above a whisper. "Do you have a son?" "I don't know," I said honestly, looking between Sarah and Jennifer. "I mean, if this is true, why wouldn't you try harder to reach me? Why wait until now? On my wedding day," Jennifer's face crumpled. "Because he was angry. Because you hurt me. Jake, you said some terrible things when we broke up, and I was young and stupid and prideful. I thought I could raise Noah on my own, but it's been so hard, and he keeps asking about his father. And when I saw your wedding announcement on Facebook last month, something inside me just snapped. I realized I was being selfish keeping you two apart. Noah deserves to know his dad, and you deserve to know your son." The pastor cleared his throat awkwardly. "Perhaps we should take this somewhere more private. But I couldn't move. I was rooted to the spot, staring at that photo of the little boy on Jennifer's phone. He had my eyes. He had my smile. My mother's nose. Even from across a distance, I could see it. A wave of emotions crashed over me. Guilt, fear, confusion, and somewhere deep down, a strange sense of wonder. I might be a father. I might have a son I'd never met. Sarah was crying now, silent tears rolling down her cheeks, ruining her carefully applied makeup. "I can't believe this," she whispered. "This is our wedding day, Jake." "Our wedding day?" "I know," I said, reaching for her hand, but she stepped back. "Sarah, please." "I didn't know about any of this. But what if it's true?" she asked, her voice rising. "What if you have a child? That changes everything. Everything we've planned, everything we've talked about. We were going to wait 2 years before having kids. We had it all planned out." "Miss, I can prove it," Jennifer said, addressing Sarah directly now. "I have his birth certificate. I have medical records. I even brought Noah with me. He's outside with my sister. I can bring him in if you want to meet him." "No," Sarah said firmly. "No, I don't want to meet him. Not like this. Not here." She turned to me, and I could see her heart breaking in real time. "Jake, I need you to be honest with me right now. Look at that picture. Look at it really closely. Could that be your son?" I looked at the photo again. Jennifer walked closer and handed me her phone. I zoomed in on the little boy's face. He was smiling, missing one of his front teeth, holding what looked like a toy dinosaur. And yeah, the resemblance was undeniable. Those were my eyes staring back at me. That was the same cowlick I'd had as a kid that my mom was always trying to comb down in old photos. "It's possible," I admitted quietly. "Sarah, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. My bride, the woman I loved more than anything in the world, took off her veil." She carefully set it down on a nearby chair, and then she started walking back down the aisle. "Sarah, wait," I called after her, starting to follow, but my dad grabbed my arm. "Let her go, son," he said quietly. "Give us some time to process this." I watched helplessly as Sarah disappeared through a side door, her bridesmaids scrambling after her. The church was in complete chaos now. Some people were leaving, others were crowded around whispering, and my mom had her face buried in my dad's shoulder, sobbing. Marcus came up beside me, putting his hand on my back. "Dude," he said, "what do you need me to do?" "I don't know," I said, honestly. I turned back to Jennifer, who was still standing there, looking guilty and defiant at the same time. "Why now? Why like this? You couldn't have reached out before today. Called my parents. They're in the phone book." "I tried that," she said. "Your mom hung up on me. Twice. She said you'd moved on, and I needed to do the same. I guess she thought I was just trying to get you back." I looked at my mom, and she wouldn't meet my eyes. That hurt almost as much as everything else. My own mother had known about this possibility and never told me. "We need to do a paternity test," I said finally. "Right now, I need to know for sure." "Okay," Jennifer agreed immediately. "I understand. I actually brought one with me." She pulled an at-home paternity test kit from her bag. "We can do it right now if you want." So that's what we did. Right there in the church, in front of God and everyone. I swabbed the inside of my cheek, and so did Jennifer. And then she went outside and came back with Noah. The little boy was hiding behind his aunt's leg, clearly overwhelmed by all the strangers in formal wear staring at him. Jennifer coaxed him forward gently. "Noah, sweetie, this is Jake. He's a friend of Mommy's. Can you open your mouth so we can swab your cheek? It won't hurt, I promise." Noah looked up at me with those green eyes, and something in my chest tightened. "Hi," I said softly, kneeling down to his level. "Your mom's right. It won't hurt at all." He let Jennifer swab his cheek, and then he surprised me by asking, "Are you really my daddy?" I didn't know what to say. How do you answer that question when you don't know the answer yourself? "Maybe," I said finally. "We're going to find out real soon, okay?" He nodded seriously, and then he held up his dinosaur. "This is Rex. He's a T-Rex. He's awesome," I said, and I meant it. This kid, whether he was mine or not, was pretty adorable. We sent off the test for expedited processing. which meant we'd have results in about 48 hours instead of the usual 2 weeks. The wedding was obviously canceled. The reception venue called asking what to do with all the food, and Marcus told them to donate it to a local shelter. Guests slowly filtered out, some offering sympathetic pats on the shoulder, others just leaving quickly to avoid the awkwardness. Sarah refused to talk to me. She'd gone to her parents' house, and when I tried calling, her dad answered and told me in no uncertain terms to give his daughter some space. I understood, but it killed me not being able to explain, not being able to comfort her. Not that I even knew what I'd say. What comfort could I offer when our entire future was suddenly hanging in the balance? I went home to our apartment, the place Sarah and I had been living together for the past year, and it felt empty and cold. The wedding gifts were still stacked in the corner, unopened. Our honeymoon tickets to Hawaii were sitting on the kitchen counter. Everything we'd planned was falling apart, and all I could do was wait for those test results. Jennifer called me the next day. "I want you to know," she said, "that even if you decide you don't want to be in Noah's life, I won't sue you for back child support or anything. I just thought you deserved to know he existed, and he deserves the chance to know his father if his father wants to know him. If he's mine," I said, "I want to be in his life. I'm not the kind of guy who abandons his kid." "I know," she said softly. "That's one of the reasons I loved you back when we were together. You're a good person, Jake. I'm sorry this all came out the way it did. I should have handled it differently." The 48 hours felt like 48 years. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Sarah still wouldn't talk to me. I had tried texting, calling, even showed up at her parents' house, but they wouldn't let me in. Marcus kept me company, ordering pizza that neither of us really ate and trying to distract me with sports and movies, but nothing worked. Finally, the results came. I was at my apartment when I got the email notification. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely tap the screen to open it. Marcus was sitting next to me on the couch, and I could feel him holding his breath. I opened the document, read the first line, then read it again to make sure I understood it correctly. The probability of paternity was 99.9%. Noah was my son.